All right. What's up, everyone? So, there has been some news drops over the last couple hours here. So, this just came in hot off the presses from PlayStation .com, and we are going to check it out. It is as you can see over here, the PSVR2 is officially been announced, is officially a thing. So let's jump into the details on it. Just recently, I was doing a Resident Evil uh, 4 VR thing with Quest 2, and I was talking a lot about of like how I'm thinking the VR2 is really taking notes from the Quest 2 because the Quest 2 seems to work really well. So we actually have a full stat sheet of what the PSVR2 is, what it does, all the buttons on it, the cord that connects it to the console and everything. We have the whole 9 yards here. So the statement is as followed. You can see it right here. PSVR2. Happy New Year, everyone. It is my great pleasure to start off 2022 with news of our next gen VR system for PS5 consoles. Starting with the official name PlayStation VR2 and our new VR controller, PlayStation VR2 Sense controller. So all this was actually shown off at CES also earlier tonight. So this is the this is the press briefing that came out afterwards. So PlayStation VR2 takes VR gaming to a whole new level, enabling a greater sense of presence and allowing players to escape into game worlds like never before with the headset on and controller in hand. Players Okay, so it's a lot of the media talk. Thanks to the creativity of the game worlds being built by our world-class developers and the latest technology incorporated into the hardware. Absolutely. It comes down to the developers trying to think literally outside the box of your screen. Kojima actually said on a documentary, a recent documentary even, from bedrooms to billions. Go and check out that documentary if you can find it. It's pretty cool. It's like almost 3 hours of the whole history of PlayStation from PS1 and the starting, of everything up to the PSVR actually. Just before PS5 launched, that's where the documentary like cuts off. But yeah, Kojima was talking about like how for like 100 years cinema has been trapped inside this like frame of a box, and it's like a screen, and PSVR is like basically breaking through that box and getting into like you are literally inside the world of it and all that is, which is awesome. Anyways, PSVR2 takes VR gaming to a whole new level, enabling a greater sense of presence and allowing players to escape into the game world like never before, as I was just talking about. With the headset on and controller in hand, players will feel a heightened range of sensations unlike any other, thanks to the creativity of the game worlds being built around the worlds the developers are making. Upon innovation of PS5, PSVR2 adds a true next-gen experience with high-fidelity visuals, new sensory features, and enhanced tracking. So like these are the big bulletin features that are to sell you on the PSVR or the PSVR and the Quest 2 and the Vive and all those. Visual fidelity. Visual fidelity experience offers 4K HDR. I'm not big on HDR, but the 4K part, that's huge. 110-degree field of view. So if you jump into VR, the first thing that you're going to notice is your field of view has a lot of like darkness around it because the lenses essentially turn into this, and that's all you can see when you're in VR is like as much as the lenses can show you. So this, however they're going to do it, it's going to be all the way around. So I'm guessing it's going to be a screen that goes all the way around, like almost like the Samsung ultra wide flat screen panels that they got with like the curved monitor look. Do that, but in a miniature form that goes in front of your face. That they can put the two images side by side. I'm guessing that's how it's going to work. It's either that or they're going to mirror it somehow, maybe inside of it. Who knows? And FOV'd rendering. That's the technology right there. FOV'd rendering. Let's just see what this brings up. I am very curious to see what this term would even bring up is a rendering technique which uses an eye tracker integrated with a VR headset to reduce the rendering workout by greatly reducing the image quality in the peripheral vision. Oh, okay. So this is actually a thing. A less sophisticated variant called fix FOVated rendered. Okay, so it's the eye tracking motion. That's cool. Okay, didn't know that. With an OLED display, everybody's been going nuts over OLED displays. Everybody loves those. Your PS Vita has an OLED display. The brand new OLED Switch has an OLED display. So if you want to get like a reference, that's you can go down to an electronics store and look at an OLED TV. That's also going to be the same thing there. It's a bunch of tiny little LED lights, and each LED light displays a whole array of colors. The great thing about OLED is like where the PSVR, the regular VR, as soon as it turns on, you can definitely see that it's on because it would be slightly ever so gray on the inside. And that's just the lighting of it. It's just the way it works. So OLED display will hopefully alleviate that. So players can expect a display resolution of 2000 by 2040 per eye and smooth frame rates of 90 to 120 hertz. Now, this is very, very, very important, that 90 to 120 hertz. That means that the games will run very, very smooth and look very, very lifelike when you're in there. And this is the thing. So regular gaming on a flat screen, 60 makes it look very smooth, almost, and 120 looks almost lifelike. When you're in VR, you need double the frame rate. So basically 90 is kind of like your 60 of your baseline, and then 120 is going to be that very, very smooth look. Headset-based controller tracking with inside-out tracking. And the other thing is, too, you don't have to really worry about, because it's VR, you're not going to have to worry about like HDMI 2.1 and all that stuff, because literally the VR is the display, So if it's built for 120, your VR is going to run 120 on a PS5. So you're good to go there. With inside out tracking, PSVR tracks you and your controllers through integrated cameras embedded in the VR headset. Yes. So Quest 2 does this. Okay, so for those that don't know, the Quest 2 actually has, where you'd think that these are like screw holes, no, they're actually cameras on the front. So you have, 4 cameras on the front that actually track. So when you're holding the controller in front, it actually tracks the controller with the light source on it and everything. Way better. It's so much better than having the camera in front. Just recently, I tested it with Resident Evil 4 VR, and so far, I will say this: the tracking way better. Because if I come out to like here, where is it? Where's my play space? Yeah. So like this right here, there's cameras on the front that is actually tracking where you're at instead of having the camera in front of you. Um, yeah. Which also, this is higher resolution. The like I said, the tracking is way better on this. I mean, the PSVR is old tech at this point. There we go. Whoa! It's a wow. Okay. Nice. So as you can see, yeah, it runs way smoother than the original PSVR. You don't have to have the extra camera there and everything. It's just everything is right there on the unit and just works. Way cooler in my book than the having all the extra cords and peripherals and everything hanging around. Let's see here. So, PSVR2 Sense technology combines eye tracking, headset feedback, 3D audio, and the innovative VR2 Sense controller to create a incredibly deep feeling of immersion. That's awesome. So the eye tracking, I think, is going to really help with anybody who gets motion sick very easily. If you think about it, when you go to move your head, your eyes just automatically move to left and right and like up and down and everything. First, your eyes move, then your head moves. It's just the way that your body works. It's to keep yourself on in balance and make it so you don't make yourself dizzy instantly. That's one of the things with VR I notice is that a lot of times you'll move, but you're not really moving your eyes. It's everything else is moving except for your eyes, and that right there hits your stomach real easy. So eye tracking should end up helping with if your eyes start to move left to right, the camera would probably move just slightly in game to make sure that everything is as smooth and as natural as possible when everything's moving. Um, Headset feedback, that's going to be your dual sense built into the headset, so maybe there's going to be some dual sense up here or something to where like, or especially like up here, that's where your balance is in your head, it's your temples. If you know anything about boxing or like UFC or something like that, you knock them in the temple hard enough and it'll throw them off balance, they'll drop. So definitely if they do a little bit of a dual sense up here, it's going to make you really feel like you're inside that. If you get hit upside the head with something, it's going to be like whoop, and you're going to feel it. It's not going to shock you or anything, but it's just enough to where you're going to feel it. 3D audio is something that the PS5 has in abundance. Also, a lot of the PlayStation first party titles definitely do a lot of 3D audio stuff. It sounds really good. Sounds really cool as far as I've heard and everything. And the innovative DualSense controllers for the PSVR. Yeah, and that's what I was talking about before. Of course, we're going to get DualSense controllers with the PSVR2. That just makes sense. Headset feedback is a new sensory feature that amplifies the sensation of in-game actions from the player. Creates a single built-in motor with vibration that adds a single built-in motor, so maybe in the front or something. Intelligent tactile elements bring players closer to the experience. For example, gamers can feel a character's elevated pulse during tense moments. Ooh, that okay. I mean, it's cool. I just don't like the boom boom. I don't like that. I hate that. Even hearing like the heartbeat and stuff, I hate that stuff. But that's cool. It's in there. The rush of objects passing close to the character's head. Now that's cool. The thrust of a vehicle as the character speeds forward. Awesome. Additionally, PS5's Tempest 3D audio makes sound players' surroundings come alive. Yeah. That's one thing I will say too. The Quest 2 does pretty good 3D audio. It's built into you have two speakers built into the sides of the so the two things that are like going backwards, those are built-in speakers, and they do sound really well. Like they do a really good job of like doing 3D audio that way. Eye tracking detects the motion of your eyes, so a simple look to a specific direction can create a additional input for the game character. This allows players to interact more intuitively in new and lifelike ways, allowing for a heightened emotional response and enhanced expression. So I'm wondering if you look down, the camera's automatically going to go down. I wonder if that's how they're trying to replace the right analog sticks. That it's going to be interesting to see if we have dual analog sticks with this. I really hope we do. All these enhancements PSVR combined with haptic feedbacks, adaptive triggers. So you're going to have all that feeling that you have in the controller is going to be there with your triggers and your vibration. That's awesome. Enables players to feel and interact with the game much more visceral way. Simple setup process with a single cable connected directly to the PS5. You can immediately jump into the VR experience. A single cable. Today we are also pleased to reveal that one of the biggest exclusive franchises coming to VR. Horizon Call of the Mountain. So there's a small, short little video clippet of Horizon Call of the Mountain where you can see you're just on a boat and there is some robo dinos walking around. Looks pretty cool. Definitely looks like it's on the level of like a Half-Life Alyx, and even way better than stuff that we've seen on the PSVR itself. Today we are pleased to reveal that one of the biggest exclusive franchise. Oh yeah, I just read that. I hope you've enjoyed today's update. Just remember, this is only a taste of things to come, and can't wait to share more with you about PSVR. In the meantime, the actual specs. Yeah. So one of the things I heard about this earlier today, and I was like, it's probably just rumor stuff, because I was like, where is my state of play? I want to see, you know, a state of play. I want to see these games in action. I want to see everything in motion. I want to see, all the wiggle waggle of the controllers and everything. I want to see all that stuff in action. And instead, we get a CES presentation that's like 5 minutes long of them showing us a clip or two of PSVR. I'm like, so OLED. Yeah, adjustable lens separation. That's cool. Just like the Quest 2, you can pull the lenses in and out to make it adjust for your eyes. 110 degrees motion sensors. So 6-axis motion sensing system, gyroscope. So the same thing that's in the controller, which I don't know if that's good or not, because the controller, if it's the same 6-axis motion sensing system that's in the controllers, that's not great. The controllers do not run perfect. It's probably going to be something more advanced than like what's in the controllers. I'm hoping so. So we'll see what ends up happening there. IR proximity sensor. Okay, so yeah, this thing is literally just the Quest 2 in PlayStation form, which is fine. Like, copy the hell out of the Quest 2. It works. It works really well. 4 cameras for headset and controller tracking. Yep. Okay. Vibration on the headset. US Type C. So the communication, the only wire that you have coming off this thing is a USB Type C. So what if we want to plug this through a capture card somehow and not just stream directly from the PlayStation 5? How is that going to work? We need an extra separate box or something to go along with this, like with like an HDMI cable that we can connect to a capture card. Because in all honesty, when I stream VR games, I want to be able to separate all my audio channels. I want to be able to record it separately onto OBS. I want to be using all my streaming tech that I have. Especially if I want to record with or if I want to stream and have a camera on me or something, or use like my clip-on mic that sounds better than usually the built-in mics on the VR headsets. So that's my first big concern right there, is like, what extra are we going to have to buy to make this thing plug into like a capture card or something? Sony, you gotta think about content creators now. Come on. Input built-in microphone, stereo headphone jack. Okay, that's cool. So it's just basically you can use the same little microphone that you get with your PlayStation console that you plug into your controller. Same thing works there. It's just a 3-ring, headphone microphone jack. So here's another huge one. Okay, the buttons on this thing. So the right hand is going to have the PlayStation button, option button, action buttons, circle and X, R1, R2, a right stick, and R3. Yes. Left is going to have another PlayStation button, create button, action buttons, triangle and square, L1, L2, left stick. Yes, so dual analog sticks, L3, R3. Awesome. Motion sensor, 6-axis, finger touch detected IRL LED, so position tracking. So basically the same thing as what the Quest 2 has. This thing is the Quest 2, but PlayStation's version with DualSense and everything else. So it's going to be most likely the advanced version of the Quest 2. The thing is, the Quest, it's probably going to be in one way necessary to have both the Quest 2 and the PSVR, because you're going to have different stuff that is like exclusive to each platform. So like Resident Evil 4 VR, if that's a timed exclusive. If it's not, we don't know. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas on the Quest 2 also. That's going to be exclusive. Is it going to be timed or not? We don't know. But PSVR is going to have the Horizon game, possibly Gran Turismo in the future is going to have a brand new VR for the new game. Your Ace Combats, I mean, whatever is coming out of the brand new studios and such. And also, like, if Resident Evil Village gets a VR mode in the future for like a DLC update, all that stuff you can end up using through your PSVR2. So there's something to use on both systems. So the controllers are going to have the same Type C ports, USB Type C ports, Bluetooth version 5.1. That's cool. Built-in lithium-ion rechargeable battery. I do believe the controllers for the Quest 2 is rechargeable batteries. So they're like 2 AA's or AAA's or something like that. So lithium-ion rechargeable batteries built into the controllers. I like that even more because then I don't have to worry about messing with batteries at all. Overall, yeah, PSVR2, can't wait for it. I'm definitely on board with it. I like what I'm seeing here. I just want to see more. Having the hardware is awesome, but if we don't have the software to go along with it, give us at least 3 or 4 knockout titles to go along with this PSVR2, and you got me sold on it. There's also no release dates. There's speculation it's going to come out in 22, but I think we're going to see it this year, and it might come out next year. So probably 2023, 2024 at the latest. Like if stuff gets pushed back or whatever, it'll come out in 2024. But I'm thinking probably 2023 is when we're going to actually see this thing launch. If it launches by Christmas time, I'd be very surprised because all the the part shortages and stuff like that, and chip shortages and all that. Yeah, we'll see what happens with it. I just want to see a state of play at this point and see where it's going, and see what we end up getting for exclusive titles to make this thing really worthwhile. Also, not even just exclusive titles, but also at VR add-ons for titles that we already own in our library. That's some of the main things I want to see. Like, give us some similar type of stuff. Like No Man's Sky is great in VR. Resident Evil Village is great in VR. Oh boy, there's a few others. Like a Skyrim VR is really cool. Boy, what else have I done? Something like a Mass Effect VR would be great, or car mechanic. Car mechanic VR would be really cool to see that get brought over or something. So there's like a ton of different ideas that you can end up doing with VR. Let's just see them. Let's just see what happens with it. So as of right now, it's 100% got my interest. I think this thing could be a 10 out of 10 system, but we need to see what it can do. What it's capable of. Anyways, go and check out the rest of the channel for more Let's Talks and everything, and stream replays and all that stuff. Yeah, and go like and subscribe and all that cool stuff too. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by, and as always, I will see you next time.